That one was spicy.
So the Warriors have to play 48 minutes.
I think it's going 7. I have it. I have the Nuggets at 7.
Ant-Man, Batman, Watchmen, Lakers at 5.
Well, it's money time now.
What's up, you two? What's up, you two? So we get a little bonus coverage here. I had to do a back to back this week. I had to definitely do a back to back this week. We get some bonus coverage. I come in and Knicks up 22. I kind of expected a good effort from the Knicks. Knicks did miss a couple of times, like no wine or no foul. It was a good call. So the Knicks actually went up by 22. Siakam had a breakaway layup. McBride gave him a good, clean, hard foul. And considering what they've been called, Carlisle's Carlisle working the refs. He's a great coach. He's a very good coach. But Carlisle working the ref is too much of a drama queen for me, man. He did this last year. Deuce with a good clean foul. Wright had a chance on a breakaway layup. Knicks got to keep up this intensity. This game was going to go down to the wire. I don't care about 22 minutes. You guys have seen it. You guys have seen it all playoffs long. 20-point leads are not safe. Right? So the fact that the Knicks have multiple comebacks of 20. They have multiple comebacks of plus 14, plus 15. Goes to show you, and it's been OKC walked Memphis down in the first round with a 29-point lead. Obviously, the Josh situation was what I'm gonna I'm gonna try not to go solo. CW is gonna be in and out, and I'm gonna try to get my boy JB up here. I know he's working tonight to see if he got time to stop in and say some things. But the main topic tonight is going to be, true Serum for the legacy. And man, they got their offensive rebound. What's up, Woodage? Oh yeah, they was doing a cherry goodbyes. TNT, they were doing a cherry goodbyes like the last show already. I forgot ESPN got the and one layup for veteran. They should have they should have let them get the offensive rebound. But let's see. Knicks got to close this out to give TNT another. I swear the fact that Reggie is going to be employed next year kills me. I hope Grant Hill gets in there because Grant Hill was way better than Reggie. But I think Grant Hill said something critical about LeBron James, and they kind of relegated him. I don't think they outright fired him, but he's damn sure relegated. I haven't seen Grant Hill on much. I know his other job is, come on, you got to catch that, Precious. Right? You hit the three. Okay, that's cool. Big Rod takes it down, pull it out, go to something quick. Good tap out by Josh. Indiana's going to battle us the rest of the way, man. Indiana's definitely going to battle us. What's up, chat, man? If y'all check in, just let me know you here, man. Let me know you're watching the content. The main thing is I saw some things and shout out to Angry O Hoops, who said, showed the way they covered today's player complained about media and social media, but boy oh boy, there's some things that I remember from the past and remember about coverage and all that, and that's going to get into more about MJ getting on with a lot of truth is going to be told. That was a travel. Good job, Ashua. Good job, Wright. Oh, they cut it down to 15. We had a chance to go up 25, and they've cut it down to 15. Again, look at the physicality they are letting go here. They're playing defense with their hands. Boy, that flop on that flop, they got Carly Town his fourth foul. Again, Cat, this is why you have to resist picking up stupid fouls. Again, I was yapping on FYF, and so I'll get into some of the things they said because they're part of that little crazy media clique, social media clique that just, they let guys go out, man. They let guys off the hook. And they are so hell bent on shitting on everything 90s that I mean, I always get these guys, and I just be going up there trying to talk basketball, but I always get these guys to say some of the craziest shit, bro. I get these guys to say some of the craziest shit. Lamar said he would take the other team got Shaq, and you need a center, and you got a chance to take Rudy Gobert or Akeem Olajuwon. He said he would take. I mean, he would take Rudy Gobert, and it's so asinine, bro. It's the guy that just got 5 points and 6 rebounds against Chet Holmgren. He said he'll take him over Akeem Olajuwon, a guy who we saw smoke Shaq in an NBA Finals. Because we playing today, are we playing today's rules? You think today's rules is slowing down Shaquille O'Neal? Any version of 22? Oh yeah. I noticed that Woodage. How over it is the rap is Akeem Olajuwon was overrated. And again, that was his take, right? So he asked, that was the question of the day. And he asked me, without the 2 championships, where does Akeem go on the top 10 list? I mean, top all-time list. Now I got him on I made clear that I got him on my 10. I got him on my 10, and I would drop him down 2. And again, like I just say Karl Malone or even Patrick Ewing wins one of those years. He goes down 2. Because as I made the point, Akeem Olajuwon is one of the it's not even a question, bro. It's no question. It's no question. Hakeem is better. Like, what are we talking about? I mean, seriously, it's bizarro world over there. I get that Rudy Gobert is 7-2. I get it. But bro, that is they cannot put nothing in the 90s over. They cannot again, they'll sit there and tell you how we shit on and then when I start to get them in conversations, and I start talking about today's player, well, okay, I just said the one reason why Rudy Gobert was struggling playing in the 90s, that he would win everything in the 90s. I said, no, Rudy's too soft. And they started going down all the starting centers from 92. Yeah, that right there is why I said 90. Because I said 93. I said 93. That's when Akeem went ahead of Ewing and Robinson for the best center in the world. Because he started playing like a guard. He like his hand, whatever he did, he worked on his ball because he was a soccer player. He was a soccer player up until 16, 17 years old. And then he came to America to play. So he learned all of the NBA in the footwork. So once Akeem got once he got the rock, once he got a good hand on the rock, he became unstoppable. That's when he became a better center than Ewing. Because even before that, where he was a little bit sloppy offensively, he had the defense. Again, you're talking about a guy who for 10 years was never outside of top 5 or top 6 in defensive player of the year voting. Never. At no point. And right off the bat, right there, him being one of the 2 best defensive players of all time. To me, it's him and Bill Russell. No one else can tell you they had. And again, you don't have defensive stats. You just got to go by accounts of Russell. But Russell, you can see what Russell did. You can see how Russell won championships off his defensive rebounding. You still got 20 points a game. Again, I get it. It's a legit criticism that after the finals run, from 90, basically from 88 to 91, and then 92, they got knocked out in the first round every year. So you got 5 straight. But again, I'm gonna get. Well, they missed the playoffs 1 year as well. I'm gonna get to the point that it was fair to say that number one, Houston didn't have a great team around them. They were average. They had an average head coach, right? Yeah, big, strong, and traditional. Still could give you the great defense. But wait a minute. Like, you're telling me, and again, you are so quick to say that the centers of that day was trash. Again, every center is going to bang you up. Every center, again, and me and CW was talking about it, how CW was a forward, a big guy. I'm a big guy on my little street ball. Like I'm always playing. I'm not a guard. I'm gonna play. I'm 6'2". I'm gonna play down low. I'm gonna go out there and get rebounds, box out. Do this. I can't play a little point forward. I'm not much of a guard because I'm not a shooter. If you're not a guy who either train big men, tutored big men, play big men, you will never get it, bro. These guys that sit there and tell me, and a lot of players, most guys who watch basketball, they were when you pick them, they're guard, they're ball handlers. They don't go in there in the paint. They don't get rebounds. That's why. Look, I don't want to get into this. I'll get into that later in the summer, as the WNBA will be the only show in town with baseball. But those who criticize Angel Reese, again, I understand Angel. She's a tenacious rebounder. Say what you want about the rebounds, because it's not easy to put up your own shot and get the rebound. You have to actually be quicker to the ball. You have to be tenacious that way. But her rebounds are not the rebounds. That's a new word now. It's not 30% of her rebound. That's not even true. She averages 5 offensive rebounds a game. She averages about 10 defensive rebounds a game. But for those that understand rebounding is so important. And most people that watch basketball don't give it the credit it deserves. Rebound is not easy. You got to be tenacious. You got to go up. You got to box out. You got to bang. Even if there's no box out league, people are going to try to get up under your legs, stuff like that. It's not an easy life to play in the paint. You know what I'm saying? So, again, when I say this about Rudy would have been bruised up a lot. Again, you talk about a guy that just averaged, shout out to Zay, just averaged 6.6 rebounds against Chet Holmgren. He averaged 6.6 rebounds in the series. Again, I'm going to say, that same chat that said I was too hard on Rudy, would even say he was a Hall of Famer. Now, Lamont agreed with me on that. Yeah, 4 depoys, a rebounding title, a couple of blocks titles. Rudy is already is already a Hall of Famer. Again, especially for the center, I want to venture to take things on at least 2 or 3 All NBA defensive teams. All NBA teams, bunch of All NBA defensive teams. He's a Hall of Famer. Again, the standard for Hall of Fame center in this day and age is a lot less. But they will go there and sit there and talk about, just name names. Oh, this guy's a bum. That guy's a bum. That guy's a bum. Every name that he was naming, even these obscure guys like Charles Shackelford, I would sit there and tell you what their strengths were. And he goes, well, why did you only name strengths for the 90s guys? Well, because I'm only going to, really, if you're telling me they would have started center, I'm telling you what they did and what they would bring against a Rudy Gobert. Most of these guys are going to bring physicality. It was so funny is they didn't go and play a clip of Frank Brickowski, not 92 Frank Brickowski with the Bucks, but Frank Brickowski with the Sonics in the finals against the Bulls. And they literally showed him laying everybody out. They literally showed him laying Rodman out. They literally showed him putting a hard foul on Jordan. They literally showed him knocking the first play. He knocked Tony Kukoc to the ground. You just they're so quick to shit on guys from the 90s that they didn't realize I correctly assessed the guy. I haven't seen he retired in 97. I haven't thought about Frank Brickowski much since he retired. But I can sit there and tell you why he was in the game, why he was a starter at some point. It's amazing, bro. It really is amazing, man. It's amazing. But this is how we do. This is the coverage. This is social media. Again, this YouTube stuff is social media. I would like to think we are low-key media members, man. I would like to think that those of us that do this, and again, the reason why YouTube, we need some truth tellers out here, bro. Nice move, Towns. You gotta make it though. What up, C-Dub?
What's going on?
What's
Sorry, I'm
going
eating.
on?
Sorry if I'm.
Yeah, no
punching you
problem,
off
man.
here.
I'm trying to give JB the link. I know he's at work, but
Okay.
if he wants to come up, I'm gonna try to But I was basically going down the whole thing with oh my God, these dumb cross court passes.
And that's facts. Woodage,
We
Sam
got to put
Perkins.
Indiana away. We cannot do this with these
He was
turnovers.
another big that was ahead of his time, man. He was
Who is that?
Sam Perkins,
Oh yeah, I forgot about Sam.
Carolina.
But again, you
Yeah.
know what they did, and again, I get his point. He was trying to go through. I say, look, can you go to the average center? Again, you just say, and again, as I look back, a lot of those guys were center just by circumstance. They started most of the games at center.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you talk about 92 bucks, Brickowski. Again, I said Brickowski was a bruiser. That's the point. The point is these guys were gonna lay wood on a guy like pause, but they wouldn't. It's funny we have to pause something like that. When you say lay wood, that means lay them out, have them on the ground most of the time. Again, you tell me that I'm bugging, but then Rudy Gobert, again, a guy who I say is a Hall of Famer, a guy who still should be in his prime, a guy who I still say is funny. They say, oh, well, he's not in the game plan. Well, number one, why are you not in the game plan? To me, he's supposed to be the third most important player on the Minnesota Timberwolves and the most important series of his career. And he's only 32.
Yeah, that's why when we were backstage, I said, if you never played a 7-footer, don't talk about 7-footers because you don't call them bums. Because if you've had to stand beside a 7-footer, you realize why they're out there because they do work. Like they're.
Thank you. Shout out to Charles Shackelford, man, because I know he did his thing at NC State, man. He didn't have the greatest. Let's just call him a bum, and that's another thing. You call people a bum just because he played in the 90s, just because your whole channel's existence is to make everything in the 90s seem weaker than it is.
Exactly.
And again, you're not having an honest conversation, bro. Lamar always tries to outsmart me. He never does. He never does. He might have got me on the UN thing because I was again, this is the whole thing about, I'm going to talk about great defense there, Shannon. But this the whole thing about UN is, like I said, I was kind of explaining, I was explaining that to you. And, so what I do want to kind of do, we're going to, I'm going to do play-by-play here. I'm not going to do a watch party, little mini watch party thing. I'm just going to kind of comment.
Oh, yeah, I ain't shared the thing because it was so far ahead. It was giving the game away. But, I mean, I can do that. I can put the score up if you want.
Yeah, no, don't even do that because, I want to, I don't, like last time it was kind of hard to, if we get a game 6, I might try to go, that'll be Saturday. We'll see what goes on, but,
y'all got this game. If they come back, I mean, they just not.
Bro, look,
the Pacers ain't looking good at all. They ain't looking good at all tonight.
As I say in today's NBA, man, no lead is safe, and we already know this.
Ooh,
now, the Pacers are fighting. The Pacers are fighting, and the Knicks. Some of these calls are just atrocious. We needed that from Shamit, man. Damn it. But yeah, good steal by is that Josh Hart? Yeah, we got the headband. He gets stripped. See, that's what I'm saying. These plays right here tells me that this lead is not safe. Now they just choosing who they want to shoot the three, and of course they drop it. It's a 12-point game.
And that's what you're saying is absolute fact, because if it wasn't for those guys in the 80s and 90s, the NBA would have never grown. There was expansion because it was becoming more and more popular. So they wanted to get more teams and more cities and more states involved for money purposes. So yeah, if those guys didn't come around and were as big as they were, the NBA would be local. We would still be watching on tape delay if it wasn't for those guys.
This is what we were trying to get into because what Falk was getting into, how by 1980, and again, this is something they don't understand. By 1980, and by the time they introduced the salary cap, right? Well, I think they were the first league to have a salary cap, if I'm not correct. Because I know hockey didn't have one to the late 90s. When they locked everybody out, they came with a cap, and they came with a strict cap, right? Football, the cap didn't come until later. As we know, to this day, they still don't have a cap in baseball. They just have now a stringent luxury tax, which they fought for the longest. Yeah. So the NBA was the first team, and they made it to look, here we have a revenue split. And right now, the league's business is growing. So this is actually going to work out for you guys over the years. As long as you probably try to keep your contracts short and optionable, whatever. So again, people don't understand when they talk about the Last Dance and Scottie Pippen and his contract problems. If Scottie Pippen was a little thirsty and he signed a 7-year deal, and he signed a deal that was going to largely underpay him for the best part of the 7 years.
Yep.
And the Bulls' strategy was the Bulls' thing was we're not going to renegotiate contract. What you sign is what you sign. Scottie Pippen's agent should have gave him the opt out or escalator clauses or something like that, which nobody thought about because you thought the money was so great in '91. Again, a lot of these guys like them, they don't know that. They don't know that shit. Or if they do know it, ChatGPT told them. They just choose to ignore it. Bro, when he did the ChatGPT thing, man, come on, bro. You're not even putting what I said. I did not. How can I say that Rudy Gobert is an okay rebounder when he has multiple rebound titles?
That's the go-to now. ChatGPT.
Yeah, the guy's average double-digit rebound from what would I say? A guy that averages only 7, 8 guys a year average double-digit rebounds nowadays. Why would I say that guy's an okay rebounder? Just and then Lamar tried to say, "Oh, it gave you a D when it gave me a C minus." But if you actually put what I said in a few of those things, then it would have gave me at least a B plus. Bro, like I'm sitting here trying to think about what I can say about Rudy Gobert, and there ain't much to say about him.
I mean, he would be good because he don't have the 3 seconds, so he could still stand in the paint. He would sag like everybody else did. Yeah, I mean,
they try to say, "Oh, the illegal." They try to talk about the legal defense rules would allow him to just dominate. What? No, he would have to go. So the problem is he would have to guard people. He would have to deal with people trying to knock him off his block. He would deal with players that actually box out.
Man, Rudy against Shaq would be. You talk about barbecue chicken. That would be barbecue chicken.
And so they know this. They know this. But when Rudy talks shit about Shaq, they'll call him, "Oh, you're just an old head hater." Bro, Shaq dominated with your guy in the league.
There's nothing else to say. There's nothing else to say right there.
Shaq was the multi-time All-Star with your guy in the league. Do you think Rudy Gobert ain't that? Knicks got to go to see it. Knicks should have bought some time with Brunson on the bench because now here comes the defensive liability. And again, still dribbling into the traffic. Why are they doing this at this part of the series? Did he call timeout? So now we got
Woodage. Yeah, you. That's facts. The 96 was a transcendent year because contracts. Jordan started signing those 1-year deals, getting a lot of money because he wasn't making no. You look at Jordan's career; he didn't make a ton of money from the NBA.
Yeah.
He made most of his from endorsements. So
So he wasn't tripping about what his contract was because he was making money off the court. But again, he was the one guy that was making money off the court. Like I said, that's a 2. They call that a 3 with Turner's foot right on the line. I swear they're trying to fix the series, bro. Brunson, stop dribbling the traffic.
Oh, you must be ahead of me.
He's not getting the shots to drop that we need. Oh boy. But again, it was the players' responsibility to grow the business. That was the business model, and it did so. They did so. They went from flying commercial to everybody having their own jets, to everybody having their own state-of-the-art facilities and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, those are the first 2 guys to get $100 million in a contract. Like, think about that. Now, guys gonna make $100 million a year soon enough.
Juwan Howard, yeah. That 99 season, yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, bro, can y'all just tell the truth? Stop lying. Number one, you lying on your panelists. Oh, you said he was an okay rebounder, blah blah blah. See, again, I'm just going like they wanted me like I had this written out already. Describe Rudy Gobert's game. Well, number one, I'm going to describe the last thing I saw. He was a great rebounder in his day. You guys got in 26 minutes, he got 5 and 6. Guess what? That year that Frank Brickowski started, he got better per game stats and less time playing time than Rudy Gobert got against.
Rudy
the
Gobert
OKC
can't hold on to the ball. He drops the ball if you just look at him in the paint.
the bad hands. Chad GPT said he has okay hands.
No, no.
And then
I watch him.
Ask Minnesota fans to see him every day. Now, ask Minnesota fans. Ask 93's A. Who about Rudy Gobert in his hands?
He is bad as Kevon Looney because Looney can't hold on to the ball. So these guys against
horrible hands.
Yeah, these guys against big strong guys that's gonna be pushing them around. No, man, come on, Rudy.
Good point. When Juwan Howard, because when Juwan Howard again was an okay player, like when he got $100 million, that's what caused the lockout. You're right. You're right. Like it was just like,
99.
we were giving all these guys. Yep. And so that's what it was. The lockout was caused because we gotta play a guy who's critical to what we do. We gotta pay him the money. It's like, wait a minute. Now all these guys are getting the Jordan money, and some of these guys don't deserve nowhere near Jordan money. So now what we gotta do is we gotta make the match contract. Because again, because of the match contract, guys like Josh Smith was getting the same $100 million. You understand what I'm saying? And shout out to Josh Smith. He was a hell of a talented player, but he was nowhere near a franchise player. You know what I mean? So it was a lot of things going on, man. But again, I'm gonna spatter this in here. The media narrative. Again, I was telling you this. I was telling you how the Knicks were in the same position, down 3-1 against Indiana. Similar ways. The only difference was we blew game 1. We took game 2. We lost both games at Market Square Arena. We went down 3-1. Knicks battled back, won the game 5 at Madison Square Garden, like they're playing tonight. And then they asked Patrick Ewing, are y'all going to come back? Because the Knicks were considered a better team than Indiana. We had beaten them 2 straight years, 93 and 94. So the Knicks were favored against Indiana, and they were like, are you gonna beat this team, and are we gonna get to the finals? And obviously, again, Knicks played great game 6, won, came back and Market Square again, and then came back won one game in Market Square, and then came back in game 7 again, the finger roll. Pat Riley after that decides to go to Miami. The rest is history, right? We hired Don Nelson. Don Nelson was the last season. We hired Jeff Van Gundy, and the rest is history. The rest of the Ewing era was pretty much, that until Van Gundy pissed Dolan off and got fired, and that's when the Knicks swoon began. All right. So, but I was saying how Patrick Ewing made the guarantee after Game 5 that the Knicks would win the series, and because the Knicks did not win the series, Patrick Ewing was killed as the guy that made the guarantee that didn't go. Now I think I put up on my channel the thumbnail of LeBron's infamous tweet beginning the 2022 season. I mean, before in the 2022 offseason, when they had traded for Russell Westbrook. That was the 2021 offseason, actually. Wow, that was 4 years ago now. And they traded for Russell Westbrook, and the tweet was, keep that same energy. Oh, I can't wait. And he deleted the tweet right after that. Now, again, that was somewhat of a guarantee. You're right, Wooders. The injuries was catching up to him. He was a serviceable center from 98 when Andrew Lang knocked him out of the ground going up for a dunk, and he broke his wrist. He got back in the middle of the playoffs, and remember, that's the Pacers' second time. Remember, the Pacers missed the playoffs in '97, so that was the Pacers' second time beating the Knicks with the injured Ewing. The injured Ewing was not himself, and they were able to beat the Knicks in '98. The Knicks came back and won that game in '99 with no Ewing, and then the Pacers finally got to the finals, beating with a completely washed Patrick Ewing. You understand what I'm saying? So '97 was our last good shot. We did have a shot with Sprewell and being a Sprewell and Camby onto the team, So, but again, Ewing made that guarantee, and the local media, that's like the first thing in his bio. It was like the first thing in his bio when it came down to the Knicks. He made the guarantee and didn't win. He made the guarantee and didn't win. when we make guarantees here in New York, you're supposed to win. Again, the Mark Messier guarantee, the Mark Messier guarantee, and the Joe Namath guarantee. One was made in 70, the other one was made in 94, the year before. So if you make a guarantee, and I think did Bertie Williams make a guarantee or something like that? I don't know. You know, few little famous guarantees in New York sports, right? You make a guarantee, you're supposed to win. But you win, again, played his ass off to go come down from a 3-1 deficit, and we almost did it. We had a layup. It was like, well, you can't make guarantees. You making guarantees, blah, blah, blah. That was what LeBron did. And the whole point is, right, as Angry Hoop was going through in this video, Towns, you got to drop it. If Angry Hoop was going through all of the declarations by the media, how they, again, there's no, like, oh, the Lakers are going to do this, the Lakers are going to do that, right? The Lakers were going to get to the conference finals. And it's like, when they don't do it, there's no consequence. No one's calling LeBron the guy that smokes guarantees, the guy that runs his mouth and doesn't deliver. No one's saying this. You know, when they make up excuses for why they don't win. Brunson, let's go, close it out, bro. I'm starting to feel more comfortable, but boy, man, the Pacers are giving. I will say this: I was completely wrong on how much of a battle the Pacers will give us. They've been much more physical than I expected. The Knicks have played 3 physical series. Actually, Boston was the least physical. So, like, but far be it, because I remember when Boston made their come up when they had Robert Williams III, right, locking down the paint. That was a physical team. Now they're more of a finesse team that just want to shoot threes. All right, good. Get them to lay up, but don't give them an air one, because that really hurts. You know, the time is on our side. Run good possessions, run good clock possessions. You know, don't let them hit threes like you did in game 1. And we might take this and go back to the field house. And
I want to touch on something you were talking about a little earlier.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
How everybody was saying the Lakers, you know, they had pretty much crowned the Lakers, and you know, Sports Talk Only. He's my boy. He's a friend of the channel. But when he came on the last time, he was saying how LeBron, Luka, they have like the greatest basketball IQ. So there was no way.
I remember the 2 Braves series.
Yeah, there's no way that they can lose in the playoffs. They were just too smart.
Because they're too smart. They're 2 mega minds. Like,
yeah, and I said they can't
on the court, right?
They can't make shots for the other players. That was my whole point, is the other players got to show up. And that's what didn't happen. And that's exactly what happened in the Minnesota.
Have you talked to STO since then? Because again, he's got to see him.
No, I haven't talked to him yet.
It's like it's one. Again, he came on the show, but he had mic problems. He clicked the link, but he had mic problems. So
okay, when was this?
This was the last show we did.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see him.
So
okay,
boy, random clips, casual didn't want to come up and said I asked for the link. I wasn't coming up. Bro. See, this y'all cats, bro.
Yeah, random clips. Yeah, he been around for the channel for a while, but yeah,
not a LeBron guy.
Who random clips?
Yeah,
I don't think he is, because he's just kind of anti Jordan.
Anti-Jordan, okay.
Yeah.
So you're anti-Jordan, and you're one of those. So again, and again, at the end of the day, if you got LeBron over Jordan, and you got 4 other guys over Jordan, then you're a LeBron guy. Because there's no, again,
absolutely.
You can make an argument with Akeem. You can make an argument with Wilt and Russell. You can make an argument, and again, mind you, Magic is my guy. Once Jordan got that 6, the moment he got that 6, the moment I saw he got that 6, I was like, bro, there ain't no argument no more. And I love that. I still got Magic.
It was over. Yep.
So it's like, but to have LeBron with a lesser resume, and everything they try to skew off the fact that he had more. Let's go Pacers. Hey, what's up, Philip?
Not tonight, Philip. Not tonight.
What is beautiful point. The Lakers get crowned and never deliver. Preseason, they're always in the top 5 to 10. They're all, and except for the years off the years they got smoked out of the playoffs or didn't make the playoffs or whatever. but they always hype the team up, and when a team underachieves, well, when they were underdogs, blah blah blah. Why were they underdogs? Because they underachieved during the season. They never showed that they were a great basketball team, you know. But these guys, man, again, and I asked them, I told them a couple of times, you guys can talk players, you can't talk teams. Just like the guy that was on your, you just named Hall of Fame players as if one Hall of Fame player makes a great team. As he illustrated, Akeem Olajuwon was a Hall of Fame player all those years, but they didn't have great teams. They were average teams. So that's why they got knocked. That's why Akeem went 5 years without getting out of the first round, and that's fair. That's a fair. But you got to think about what the team around them. Yeah, the team got decent and older stuff, and what's the name? But you were going to face good competition. You got swept by the Lakers 1 year. You got swept by you lost to a Jazz one other year in four. These are very good teams. Ain't like he lost it. I think he did Karl-Anthony Towns the end when that might have put it away.
This game over.
Larry Bird Johnson in. We're gonna need another game. We're gonna need another LJ moment. We're gonna need another. Yeah, man. Look. Whatever happens in this, my Pacer fan Philip Fry came in. He just trolling me because I'm a Knick.
But my question is, how are the LeBron and Lakers always? We're going to have a parade out there every year, but then they're underdogs all the time. They say, "Oh, well, they were underdogs." When have a LeBron team been the underdogs? I want to know because maybe I'm missing something. Because
they're underdogs when they're an underachieving team. Again, if you look at these preseason odds, you can see that's what they like to do, man. They don't show the 22, 21 years what the preseason odds were. Show those 20-something years what the preseason odds were. And you will see that a lot of his team flat out underachieved. And that's see when I have them 8, that's why I have them 8, because you have too many teams that it was expected to do something, either in a playoff series and didn't do nothing. And you were one of the reasons, so D Smith ain't the magnet ball is off. So
hey, shout out to Carcino.
Yo, Phillips, they hit me up on a chat on what's the name today. We talk about Boss Man D. Yo, let's talk about that Boss Man D-Lo situation. Because we talk everything here, man. Bro, black people we are one worse enemy, man. Because that young lady, I do see me. I'm one of the guys. I will call them if they present themselves as feminine enough. If you actually make the transition, I'm not one of these ultra conservatives. It's like I'm never gonna call you what you want to be called. I'm not gonna do that. Now these guys that come in here with the goddamn beard and you ain't even that's But the lady came on. And she said, I made it all up. I was bored. And now, nah. He paid her. Come on, bro. Come on. First of all, if he did, somehow you can find a paper receipt. What you can find. Well, then you could get your man and the cash app a couple of thousand and just keep it going. But at the end of the day, man, come on, man. Come on. So Boss Man D-Lo was in the clear. Like it didn't even look like listen to that man talk. That thing didn't even look like nothing that man would have said. Come on, man. This is the age of AI, guys. They could throw anything in a screenshot and make it look like you said it. So, but other than that, yeah, he was talking about his Wolves. Again, bro, I tried talking to it, and Ant-Man, another one. Look, now the whole thing is the media. They said the media went crazy. I mean, the media abandoned Ant-Man after his loss. No, number one, look at how Ant-Man played. Did Ant-Man have a great series, C-Dub? Oh, he must have dropped off. But Ant-Man, bro, come on, man. No, I'm actually in a hyped up mood, man. I was battling some LeBron James zesties. You know, oh yeah, no, but they've been talking to me about Boss Man D'Lo since we was on the once, and I said, man, look, I got to the point because it's after the Knicks won game 2, after the game won game 3, I wanted to play Let Me Pop My Shit because that's like the perfect, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, damn, now I gotta be paused about the Boss Man D'Lo, but I knew it was BS. I knew it was BS the whole time. Come on, man. This is the age of AI. They can make you look like you said it. Like, bro, these AI videos that I'll be posting on the gram, man, Jesus Christ, it'd be funny as hell. But they sound but you can see kind of just like, it looks like a goddamn computer. It looks like some shit from like Terminator 2, where, you got these little robotic talk, but it does sound just like them when they make these AI videos, man. So you can't trust nothing, man. But yeah, the Wolves got smoked. I told them what the Wolves needed to do. The Wolves had a chance to compete in a series and they blew it. It's like the Knicks had a chance. The Knicks should have played better. We could be up 3-2. It'd be a different series. But now we got to dig out. And again, as I said, I've been relatively. Look again, a great defensive effort by the Knicks. We matched everything they've been doing physically. While again, to keep this team to 90 points is a great effort. So salute to the Knicks. We live to fight another day. Game 6 on Saturday. I bet you the NBA wanted this a little bit too. Right? We can instead of sitting there until next, because the finals will start to the 4th, which is gonna be next.
Hey, they want the Knicks in the finals.
Thursday, right?
I'm telling you right now, they need the Knicks in the finals. They don't want.
They do.
They don't want.
Battle.
Yeah, I mean, it's a battle, but you saw tonight when they execute, Indiana's the inferior team, so they just got to execute.
Which is what I always will take assessment when I'm wrong. I was far off, but the only reason I was far off is because I underestimated Indiana's toughness. Indiana got some tough guys on there. Ben Shepherd, Turner's big softy, but he's such a great shot blocker. Oh, we getting an incredible Huck in the game. Let me tell you something. Porty is the future. The Knicks, and when they talk about Bronny and how, who would the Lakers should have drafted that center right there. When you go in and you have to have Rudy Gobert looking like Shaq, just to have Ariel Hukporti in your rotation, a guy who was the last pick of the draft, who you're not paying no money for 4 years. This is the problem why they drafted Bronny. Ariel, thank you for not taking him because I love to see Ariel Hukporti. He's going to probably be the backup center at some point in the next couple of years. If we trade Mitch, he actually, man, he's not as good as Mitch. Let's keep it. Oh, this is Olivia. Damn, Olivia and what's her name? The two chicks from Law and Order, SVU. Damn, Marissa Hardigate still looks good to be 60-something years old. My God. You know, her mother was James Mansfield. Oh man. So Knicks, the Knicks celebrity row is lit compared to Indiana's celebrity row. Matter of fact, it's the Knicks fans that made their celebrity row high. Ben Stiller came through. Good dunk by the Incredible Hulk. Good. I love how you be in a cheerleader campaign because I don't want to see you on the court no more. Let's dribble it out. Knicks get a good 17-point win. Bingo, bingo, bango. But yeah, man. Yeah, the final start on the 4th. Okay, Shaq and Iverson rebound. Okay, I'm gonna watch that. Yeah, look, you see how we all business, our starters all business. The bench guys, they smiling, they're happy to get in the game. Indiana's all smiling and joking, and again, we got an uphill battle. We got to win Saturday night in Indiana. Get some good sleep, get some good rest. Give Jordan Wood some love, Big Cat, Big Purr. I like Big Purr. I call him Bodega Cat. Big Purr ain't a bad. We know. Boy is a finesse player, man. I've accepted it. Yeah, I just need him to stop making stupid defensive plays, bro. Yeah, man. So again, look, I'm glad the Knicks did not let them finish off on home court, bro. It would have been nasty work. Look, I'd rather see if they got to do a defense, if they got to do an MVP, if they got to do an MVP ceremony, I'd rather see it in Indiana, or I'd rather see it in the Game 7. If they come out, what's up, Speed? What's up, Speed?
What up, Speed?
I would rather see, and it's going to be Halliburton winning the MVP on the Garden floor. But I'd rather see him do that in the Game 7 than do it in the Game 5. Look at Brunson with his pops. I would, if you know what I'm saying, because Halliburton is they're gonna give Halliburton if the Pacers win, and if the Knicks win, they're gonna give it to Brunson. For Halliburton to win, because even Triple H being at the game, Triple H was on the Indiana Celebrity Row. You should have came your ass down here to New York as well. Look at Detective
Hey, you
Bishop
called out
dancing
Triple
around.
H. You calling
But
him out.
they're gonna run a WWE storyline. And they're gonna run a WWE storyline, and they're gonna bring in next time they come to the Garden, they're gonna bring Halliburton in to rub it in our fucking face. See, I watch WWE and I watch shit. I even started watching AEW, man. That Hurt Business shit is lit, right? Shout out to the Hurt Business, Bobby Lashley, Big Shelton Benjamin. It's not Benjamin Shelton, Hulk Hogan, it's Shelton Benjamin. Get it right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, they're gonna have it all over us if Tyrese Halliburton wins the goddamn MVP trophy on the Garden floor. It's called the Larry Bird Trophy, right?
Yeah, I think it is.
And
Halliburton's in the WWE was it 2K25 or something like that?
Yeah, they did a whole promo with him and all this.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to get Brunson on it. Maybe Brunson decided, hey, you guys are gonna put me in this shit. You better give me more money.
I know that's right. Yeah, they might as well. Yeah, they had that little beef on the show, so yeah, they need to put both of them in there.
Run it through. So again, look, Knicks live to fight another day. Again, if you're gonna win the MVP trophy, win it in Indiana, and if you do win it on our floor, I'd rather it be at the Game 7. At least I can salute you. If y'all come out and outplay us in the Game 7, I can salute the Indiana Pacers and all this. You know what I mean? But damn, for them to put us out tonight would have been really, really hard pill to swallow. So we won something here, but we still got look again. Like I said, for you guys, I've been here before. I've been here in '95. Patrick Ewing, the great big fella, was asked, "Are the Knicks coming back?" And he guaranteed it. We got to Game 7. See, when LeBron made his declaration, you had 5 Hall of Famers on your team. You knew he was getting Melo, right? They didn't have. I think they didn't. They were still working it out with Melo, but you knew Melo was coming to the fucking team. So you got 5 Hall of Famers, and y'all motherfuckers won 33 games. Nobody calls LeBron out. Patrick Ewing said, "We're gonna beat the Pacers." We almost did it. He was a fucking finger roll away. Again, you know what? You know why he two finger rolled it? Because he didn't know if he had enough time. Patrick Ewing did not know if he had enough time, and I get it. It's an excuse, blah blah blah. But Ewing could have dunked it had he thought he had enough time. Shout out to Random Clips. Thank you for showing up. Was it 5 Hall of 3? Three of them went in prom. 3 of them went in prom. Random Clips. 3 of them. You can't get to the playoffs. You can't make the play in. You can't make the play in, Random Clips. The play in. Oh, AD was hurt. 42. He only played 42 games. AD, Westbrook, LeBron. LeBron went 38-6, right? The year before, Westbrook went 22, 12, and 12, right? And AD is AD. Okay, he was hurt. So what? Scottie Pippen missed half the season in '98. You forgot about that, Random Clips? How many games did the Bulls win? Random Clips? How many games did the Bulls win Can you answer this in the chat? Random clips. Westbrook was in the prime. Bro, yo, C-Dub, you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Westbrook wasn't in his prime. The season after averaging 22, 12, and 12. Even not in his prime, he averaged 18, 7, and he averaged 18, 6, and 8. Don't you know 18, 6, and 8?
Yeah, I mean
was
they were the
average of year?
favorites to win the championship that year.
They sure was.
Yep.
They sure was. And guess what, random clips? It was a team sport. LeBron fucking sucked. Let's take the gloves off random clips, because I want some of you Bron Zesties to come up here. And I know you're not a Bron guy, but you're debating for LeBron. LeBron, it was a team sport. LeBron said he had the squad. Show Perkins. It was what Perkins? It was John Sally. How was the Kendrick Perkins? Because no, John Sally said 75 and 7. LeBron sucked in 2023. Yes, he did, sir. And no, 2021, 22, LeBron was ass cheeks. You want to know why? Because his defense was deplorable. And he stat padded those 38 and 6. Stat padded. I'll say it again, stat padded. Stat padded. You know why? You're not 5, not again. Nobody calls LeBron out. Patrick Ewing, all he said was, yes, 38 and 6 sucks. You know what? Guess what, random clips? Michael Jordan's rookie year, Purvis Short averaged 28, 7, and 4. And didn't even make an All-NBA team. I mean, didn't make the All-NBA team, didn't make the Purvis Short. That was his best year for the Golden State Warriors. That was Michael Jordan's rookie year. Again, plumbers and firemen, he averaged 28 and didn't even make the All-Star game that year. George stat padded in the 80s. Yeah, Jordan was on winning teams. He made teams to make the playoffs in the 80s. He was on teams to make the conference finals. Why was LeBron with 4 Hall of Famers couldn't make the play-in? They expanded the playoffs to help the nigga get in the playoffs. They couldn't do it. Yeah, because it's idiotic. To say Jordan was ass was idiotic. We got, again, Random will never pull up. We can drop the link. Random ain't gonna pull up and have a one-on-one discussion. He's just going to shoot for the top. Did he make he retired at 35, a 3-time champion. He retired at 35, a 3-time champion. And he came back to a lottery team, out of shape. Because I don't think people understand how hard it is to not play basketball, NBA basketball for 3 years, and then come back without even a training camp. That's what LeBron did. I mean, that's what Jordan did at age 39. Yeah, LeBron sucked in 2022. Yes, he did. Sucked. He was awful. He was not good that year. Not good. Let's keep it real. And I want anybody to think I'm bugging, second to call me out on it. LeBron sucked. That 38 and 6 was the worst, was the most garbage bout of stat padding, standing around on defense. Your team won 32 games. When was Jordan ass cheeks? Tell me, he was ass cheeks with the Washington Wizards. Despite playing with a Juan Dixon and Eton Thomas, and yet he had that team humming to 13.
Real quick, I just wanted to, because Random Clips asked, who they were favored by, but as you see, at the start of the 22 NBA season, the Los Angeles Lakers and Brooklyn Nets were co-favorites to win the championship. So
thank you. You forget, Random Clips. Everybody had the Nets and Lakers. Everybody, it was a foregone conclusion that the Nets and Lakers were going to make the finals that year. And only the Nets I believe the Nets got swept in the first round that year, right? And the Lakers didn't even make the playoffs. Yeah, Jordan was never asked.
That's right.
Jordan, everybody, who was everybody now? Now, here we go. Who was everybody? The media. The same media that LeBron and them always talk about kills them. Because again, as I said, the famous Patrick Ewing guarantee, because he did not come back from down 3-1, he guaranteed the Knicks would come back down from 3-1 and was a layup away from doing it. But everybody killed him as the guy that makes guarantee. Clutch Sports, everybody. Even Skip Bayless, the hater, said that they were going to be great that year. You can't, LeBron was garbage in 2020 and 2022. Let's keep it real. That 30. First of all, there's another thing. LeBron only played 51 games. He only played like 50, 53 or 54, something like that. Westbrook played the whole. Westbrook played 78 games.
I mean, LeBron did pull off a 3-1. But like you said, in 2022, the DeJounte Murray Spurs made the playoffs.
And LeBron didn't.
Over the Lakers. So
and LeBron didn't.
He did not.
Random clips. See, you random clips, you random facts. You random facts. You don't bring all the facts in. You don't bring the fact that before Jordan tore his meniscus, and he tried to play through the meniscus tear, random clips, random facts. He tried to play through the meniscus tear. And obviously did more damage and pretty much at one point had to shut it down. But he damn near had that team in a playoff position. A team that had to draft Kwame Brown that was 20-62, I believe, or 19-63 the year before. And he damn near got them to the playoffs despite his injury. He was a legit all-star. He was putting up 28, 7, and 5. And yes, and he played for free. LeBron making 50.
He donated. He had $1 million contract. He donated it to the 9/11.
9/11 stuff.
Yep.
The same way when he took the what's the name? Uncommon Sense pointed out. He took the president's job, took the salary from that, donated, got $2 million, gave $1 million to West Unsell, who felt he was underpaid, and gave $1 million to the other million to another charity.
Yep.
Jordan was in this for the love of the fucking game, guys. LeBron is in there for the love of him. What do you mean if? Who said if? I didn't say no if. I said what happened. I said what happened, random clips. Oh boy, man! Like I said, bro, these cats, bro. Like I'm ready to take the gloves off, bro. I was just cooking Lamont and them again, as they keep the narrative, I know he has the right name because that dude don't have any Uncommon Sense is actually one of the best creators on YouTube, bro. He's like his soliloquies is just facts on. You understand what I'm saying? Like, oh man, bro, these guys are the guy to bring Jordan down. You have to do so many things to put chinks in his resume, to put chinks in his armor. I can tell you some of them. I got you, Randall, because I want to check out some of your content. Because boy, am I gonna be up in your comments smoking. I'm gonna be smoking like, bro. I want to see your comments. I'm gonna subscribe to you, bro, man. I appreciate you return the favor, whether you like what we do over here or not, man. Because I'm over here FYF destroying them, and I know you don't know who FYF or Go J Kingdom is. That's funny.
Yeah, we do appreciate you coming out, though, random clip.
We do, bro. We do. Look, man. I'm just. Oh, you don't have basketball contests. So why are your name Random Clips? What will you do? Will you do football, baseball, golf, tennis? I mean, so you. Okay, you know who FYF is. Okay, Mr. Alternate Universe, the guy who told me he would put his house. Oh, they're partners. He's, Go James Kingdom is on, on this channel the same way I'm on the GoCast podcast. But bro, the guy told me tonight he would take, with his life on the line and the other team got Shaq, he would take Rudy Gobert as the center over Hakeem Olajuwon. The man told me he would take his house on the line. Like literally, bro, gonna have to sign a deed over to his house. Are we kidding me?
Over Hakeem?
Over Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yo, that's insanity.
Hakeem Olajuwon. And the reason, well,
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that part. So yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, I was telling you backstage before we got on. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I asked him. I said this is set of debate, and because that's when I know not to take anything else you say in this conversation seriously. But you would put your house because of Trump, and of course he's gonna throw this coach mumbo jumbo out because he can play in the modern. Bro, the reason why the Knicks the reason why the Knicks did not win in '94. The reason why the Knicks did not win in '94 is at the end of Game 6. At the end of Game 6, the Knicks ran a perfect pick and roll. Ewing the Starks. Starks was wide open. Ewing. I forget. I think it was Mario Ellie who was guarding Starks. Ewing set the perfect screen. Starks had about 10 feet. Go back and look at the play at the end of Game 6. This is one play I remember from the 90s. If there's any play I should remember from the 90s with that play. Knicks up 3-2 at this point, remember. Team Olajuwon covers that ground and blocks John Starks' shot at the buzzer. That shot was going to drop. Starks was not always the most accurate shooter, but with that much space, it was automatic. And Akeem Olajuwon played that pick and roll and covered that much ground. But meanwhile, they think that he can't be as mobile as Rudy fucking Gobert. Bro, come on, man. Rated R Sports said Akeem was overrated. I know, bro. These cats, man. These cats. I mean, it is what it is. If y'all just gonna shit on the 90s, if you're not gonna actually believe that anybody can play in the 90s, what can I tell you, man?
Yeah, I mean, just watch Hakeem in that 95 playoffs. Watch what he did to David Robinson. Watch what he did to Shaquille O'Neal. And that should tell you he is not even close to overrated.
And then I believe the conference finals was against, man, let me just check for facts. The conference finals, I believe, was against Phoenix. Hold on, let me just check the fact check. But all I know is that one came down to Game 7. And I mean, the way it was a duel between him and Kevin Johnson. Kevin Johnson had 46 points and had the whole goddamn team in foul trouble.
And mind you, he did that against not only David Robinson, but Dennis Rodman, who I'm not going to say they overrate him, but they say he was just a defensive stalwart of those Chicago Bulls teams.
Yeah, and I remember that's the
Hakeem killed him. Yeah,
that was the thing that got Rodman traded as well, because he was so negative about, like, it was basically like you couldn't bring him back to that locker room with Robinson, and obviously they're going to choose Robinson over Rodman.
Absolutely.
But Rodman was calling him soft and all type of shit. And like, bro, I get your point. But first of all, he wasn't soft. Yeah, that was actually a second round that they went 7 with Houston. And it was 114. Matter of fact, famously funny, the same time that Nixon coming back from 3-1 down, Houston came back from 3-1 down. Mm-hmm. So let me go and look at Keem, because look, there's one. I'm looking at the stats. KJ was known for dragging Kenny Smith. Kenny Smith right there in the middle of your screen. If you still watching the coverage, KJ used to destroy Kenny Smith, bro. KJ had 46 points, 10 assists in Game 7, a 40 game score. In Game 4, he had a 41.5 game score. So that Game 4, they put Phoenix up 3-1. And again, these are Barkley's best chances. But KJ had 22 free throws. So I'm looking at the box score. He had, and if you look at the box score, everybody on it KJ was cooking them like goddamn, boy, he was cooking them like fried rice, man. I'm looking at the box score. I'm going to look at Akeem. Akeem missed 8 free throws, but he wound up with 28, 11 in a block. 29, 11 in a block. He also had 29, 7, 8, and 4. But Akeem brought the Rockets back from a 3-1 deficit, and they won. And again, winning 115-114, and obviously that team went on to win the championship that year. And Akeem had to be great, as usual. And then, then the conference finals, was against the Spurs, your Spurs. And you were a Spurs fan back then, CW?
I wasn't a Spurs fan until Tim Duncan came, but I watched that series, and I like David Robinson, but when I saw that, it was he was the MVP that year, and he just got completely obliterated.
When it comes to Spurs fans, I want them to understand how good the team was before Robinson, because that's one of the things I kind of when I do the Duncan. Wow. Let me look at this. Hold on. So now in the finals, he absolutely obliterated Shaq.
He did. I've watched. Oh my God. I watched it live and I watched clips of it. Yeah, he did.
So he averaged 30. So like, if you say he obliterated you, and he decimated Shaq, he did that, bro. So let me go to the because I'm going to see what he did against Phoenix. Again, he played 50 minutes in the overtime game 6 or game 5. Again, remember, this is down 3-1 with your life on the line. 14 of 31, 3 for 3 for the free throws. So you're 31-16 a block. Then he had 10 assists, 8 rebounds, 5 blocks, 2 steals in game 6. And then the famous duel with KJ. I believe KJ yammed it on him in the series as well. That's what everybody hypes up the Scottie Pippen one. That KJ one on Hakeem was nasty. 29. So again, I did get a Johnny to say that KJ was an elite creator. I did get KJ. Johnny to admit that because
he was quick. He was actually quick to say that. So
as he was trying to tell the world that Gilbert that Jason Terry was an elite creator, and I gave him that. Right? I said, okay, I know was KJ an elite creator. He's like. He had to think about it. He knew where I was going. I was like, I made you give props to a 90s cat, bro. Wow. Nobody but King Speech Bro could get that channel to give props to anybody in the 90s, except for when it's to shit on Jordan somehow.
the 90s were terrible, man. They didn't know what to do in the 90s.
Despite them having finals, even All-Star game numbers that rival with the fucking football games. Even the All-Star game got ratings that rival football games. You understand what I'm saying? Like the 90s was awful. And even though some of the 90s guys who couldn't even get playing time in the 90s came in the 2000s and locked up some of your favorite players. Ben Wallace, who was at the end of for 2 or 3 years at the end of Washington's bench, didn't get a chance to start until he gave. Matter of fact, let me go look at Ben Wallace. Let me see when Ben Wallace became up. Because I know it was a couple of years.
Because he was on the Bulls. He was on the Bulls at first.
He was on the Bulls at the end of his career, but he was drafted to the Washington.
Well, he was
undrafted free agent, I believe. He was, I believe. Let me see. Was he drafted? He was not drafted. Did not get drafted.
Wow.
Think about this.
Hall of Famer.
So bad that a Hall of Famer did not get drafted in the 90s.
Hall of Famer. Yep.
No draft. Ben Wallace finally picked up traction in 99. So after the lockout, Ben Wallace got 26 minutes a game, averaged 6 points, 8. This is the last year of the 90s. 6 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks. Again, this is Oakley's little bro, right? Honestly, I think Charles Oakley pretty much got him a job. Again, he came to Orlando in 99, 2000, averaged 4.8, 8.2, 1.6 blocks. At this point, they knew what he was going to be. They knew he was going to be a cleanup guy, rebounder, rim protector. The modern pro. Ben Wallace never averaged double-digit scoring, and that's all he was. Again, he also said, "I would take Ben Wallace over Hakeem Olajuwon." The man said he would take Ben Wallace over Hakeem Olajuwon to guard Shaq. Remember, okay, let's go because of the 04 finals, right? And I want to show you what Hakeem Olajuwon did to Ben Wallace. All Ben Wallace had to do was stay one-on-one and hold his own. All he had to do was hold his own, which he did. I want to show you what Shaq did in this gentleman's suite. Let me see. Rick Carlisle and his goddamn. Yeah. He works the refs like none other. Shaquille O'Neal game 1, 34 points. Hold on. Let me look game by game. Matter of fact, I got to go to Shaq's game log to get this more easily. So let me get an 04 playoffs game log. Okay, here we are. Because I want to make the point that no, it ain't like Shaq 13 of 16, 8 of 12 from the line, 34 points, 11 rebounds. Second game, 29 and 7. Now he did do a great job in game 3, 14 and 8. I'm trying to see if there's any foul trouble for Shaq. Not really. Shaq had He did have 5 fouls. Actually, Shaq had so he did have 5. I think I would guesstimate that shot foul trouble. Shaq had 36 points and 20 rebounds in Game 4, and in Game 5, it seemed like they had demoralized them. They won by 13. Yeah, they held the Lakers in Game 3. That's the Shaq game where he was in foul trouble, to 68 points. So again, the Lakers, the Pistons' overall game plan was great, but Shaq in that series probably shot 60-something% from the field and averaged about. Let me go look at the series average. Hold on. The Pistons never won. I mean, Ben Wallace did. The Pistons got to the finals, and Ben Wallace was a great defender. I think, again, he won 3 or 4 or deep. So Ben Wallace, but again, it's like to sit there and tell me you take Ben Wallace over Hakeem Olajuwon, it's just fucking asinine, bro. It's asinine. And I posed the question. Shaq is on the other team, and the key, and that the key to that team is holding Shaq at bay. Would you take Hakeem Olajuwon or Rudy Gobert? And they're so quick to shit on everything 90s that he said, I take Rudy Gobert. You can't take nothing serious. Your cat says after that, bro. You just can't. You cannot take anything a guy says after that series. Shaq averaged 26, 11, 0.6 blocks, 63% from the field, to 49% from the line. I mean, again, he did an excellent job. Obviously, the real key to the series was what Tayshaun Prince did to Kobe Bryant. Even Derek Fisher only shot 31% from the field. Karl Malone. Again, they're saying that was the reason why that came up too. Is I asked, what's the greatest team you saw that didn't win a championship? I asked Lamont that question, and he said the 04 Lakers. And again, you're talking about a team who I'm looking at the numbers. They averaged 82 points a game in the finals. Again, it was a masterful defensive class. It was Larry Brown taking Phil Jackson's lunch, no doubt. Not only did Kobe shoot in the 30s, the entire team outside of Rick Fox, who made 4 baskets, shot under 40%. It's Rick Fox and Shaq are the only 2 Lakers in that series who shot above 40%. That was bro. If you want to talk about a masterclass, even the great Gary Payton, you know what Gary Payton averaged in the finals? 4 points and 4 assists. As I said, Malone and Shaq were washed, but because Lamont said the best team, your best team that didn't win a championship was the 04 Lakers. The 04 Lakers were vastly overrated. There's a reason why they broke up that team. Again, okay, but I will say, I think Malone had a hamstring problem, stuff like that. But Malone, again, remember, this is Iron Man Malone. He's 40 years old now at this point. He averaged a single in the finals. Third chance to win a championship. His last chance to win a championship. He averaged a single. Like Malone was nothing to worry about. And he averaged 5 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists in 31 minutes. Shot 33% from the field. Let me just see what Rasheed Wallace did by contrast. Rasheed Wallace averaged not nothing mind blowing, but Rasheed averaged 13 and 8, 45%, 78% from the line. Just saying. I understand Rasheed Wallace about 11 years younger, but Malone was pretty much washed. And for him to call this team, this overrated team, and I said it that year, that they were overrated. Yeah, Malone was another fault guy, But this is what we do. We got to flip everything up. Shout out, man, bro. Kevin Johnson, man. Kevin Johnson is one of the point guards after Magic Johnson. He's like on a list of 4 point guards that I would start a team with. Because Kevin Johnson's game was really simple. Get into the teeth of the defense and wreak havoc. And that's what he did. Kevin Johnson was so much quicker than everybody. Kevin Johnson, again, Allen Iverson's talking about how Kevin Johnson served him up in his rookie year. And this is the last couple of years of Kevin Johnson. Bro, ask the guys that played against LeBron about some of these 90 guys. Not to say that, random clips, man. Thanks for coming through, bro. But you like I said, man, you random facts, bro. You are random facts, man. But these media narratives are just something else, and they're not. Oh, he read. Okay, so I upload random movie. So you're not a sports content creator, okay? I guess you're on this casual in these sports talk streets, bro. But like I said, anytime you want to come up, man, facts. The fact that KJ is not in the Hall of Fame is just when they just be naming Hall of Famers on teams. Some of the guys, and again, KJ had other bigger things in life. Obviously, he became the mayor of Sacramento. His controversy notwithstanding, I don't know if anything was substantiated. He's not in jail. Obviously he had the PDF file allegations. Him and his wife. The whole situation. I don't get into that. If he wasn't convicted, I'm not getting into that. And that might be a reason why, man. Yeah, man. We're gonna drop the link for anybody who wants to come up and speak, man. Call in. We got a pretty good show out here, man. Like so. Yeah, the link is in the chat. I think it's on both. Oh yeah, because it's on their platform. And anybody watching me, I'm gonna go on YouTube. So C-Dub, if you want to speak a couple of things, hold it down because I'm gonna go on YouTube to drop it in my
okay,
live.
yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't never understand why certain channels just hate the 90s. Like, what if anybody's out there that's not a 90s person who was around that time and knows basketball, what was going on in the 90s that you just feel like it was so inferior to the current product or the 2000s or the 2010s? Because if you look at the actual stats from the 90s, they weren't that much lesser. Stat wise, I believe like assists, rebounds were better in the 90s than they were in 2010s. It was just scoring was a little bit higher. So, if you're not a big 90s person and you're down with the current product and the 2010s and 2000s and anti 90s, let me know what they were doing so much better that the 90s we're done with the 90s, because I still want to understand that whole movement of we're done with the 90s and the 90s were just so inferior than other decades. So if you got that those facts, please let us know because I want to know. But
you know what's crazy, bro? You know what's crazy? I think in the 2000s, we were still dick riding the 70s music, man, right? Like everything Dr. Dre did, Dr. Dre's whole beat process was taking 70s hits.
he was taking those samples, yeah.
Right now, it's so funny, bro. I was watching Three's Company earlier, right? And that was made when I was born, and they was talking about the 20s, and this made me like the 20s, the roaring 20s, back when motherfuckers, Bumpy Johnson and Al Capone and all of them, right? And then all of the craziness of the roaring 20s. And back in the 70s, you were just as close to the 20s as we are to the 70s now.
Facts.
And the 70s shit still bang, bro. It's still bang.
Yep.
But look, when it comes to basketball, bro, that channel over there, man, all they do is talk about 90s. All they do is talk about 90s. And I proved tonight, they don't know shit about the 90s. They don't know, bro. Him and all his little lap dogs. Again, he was naming guys, and I'm talking about obscure guys. And so every time he named a guy, would basically just slip in my, Charles Shackelford. This is a big guy, banger, decent rebounder, right? Nobody's acting like Charles Shackelford was going to go to the All-Star game or nothing like that. But he's like, I was like, but see, bro, you can't tell me anything about these guys I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, if anybody's in my chat, because I put it there, but it don't come up as a hyperlink. But you can see if you could copy and paste or just anything. I'm trying to see because if I can't copy and paste a comment in this one for some reason on my phone. But because whatever I comment will go into my chat.
Oh, okay,
right?
okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but I put it there. All right, so this is I put test, right? Okay, so let me see if I can copy it. If I can't copy and paste
Gilbert Arenas, he's one of the weird ones because he's a part of. He's not a part of the '90s, but he was around the era that Jordan was still around.
Watching that, did you see the documentary with him and Javon Crittenden about that?
I still haven't watched. That's on Netflix, ain't it?
Yeah. You should.
Yeah, I still haven't watched that yet.
But I learned a lot about Gilbert. Gilbert was, because honestly, I always thought Gilbert was a little street, and Gilbert was far from that.
Yeah, no.
Gilbert was a his guy. His dad was a stunt man. Like Gilbert came from a little bit of money. Like he didn't struggle, and he was raised by a single dad. His mom wasn't in the picture, right? So it's all a lot of hyper masculinity and stuff. But Gilbert is a goofball. Gilbert's a goofball. He was never RP John Ritter, man. I've been watching Three's Cup. That's all I watch is Three's Company YouTube content and fucking sports, bro. Three's Company, a little bit of King and Queen, and that's it. That's all. When I watch, I binge watch everything now. You can't. I refuse to watch what the television tells me I need to watch now. I'll go binge watch. That's why I knew my girls from Law and Order sitting courtside. Oh, they still look good, man. I swear.
Suzanne Summers.
Yeah, Suzanne Summers. Shout out to four cast members still alive. It'd be Larry, Janet, Cindy, and then Terry. Terry is still alive. I'm trying to think of it. I know one is Richard Klein. That's Larry. But those guys, those everybody, Roper Furley, Mr. Helen, the Ropers, Helen and Stanley Roper, they both they all passed away a long time ago. But yeah.
We showing our age, man.
Yes, sir. But look, again, like, bro, look, we go. I wanted to call this the Old Head Podcast back when me and May was dreaming on this. But there's already an Old Head. There's probably 10 Toes Down podcasts out there, but they're not sports content. So, they don't do sport. 10 Toes Down podcast on YouTube. Some of them, one of them do like, I don't know, they probably do that dating shit or something like that. I don't know. But this is all, but I wanted to be the old head podcast because I embrace my old head status. But there's already an old heads podcast, and I'm a big fan of them. Shout out to these guys. You know what I'm saying? So
I watch them all the time. Yeah.
But we 10 Toes Down over here, man. Again, we make takes. We don't run from our takes. That's the next thing. A lot of these guys run from their takes. Again, a lot like the Nick Wrights of the world and all these cats. Even Skip Bayless, who was throating LeBron at some point, again, right? Common sense was right. Call him the greatest driver of the basketball, which is Cap. Again, he is not a good driver. Again, Michael Jordan was a better driver than him. Problem is that Michael Jordan drove in a league where you go have big men to meet you at the basket. That Rudy Gobert take, man. Again, the big croissant is soft. He is soft as a croissant. Again, I'll defend Rudy more than anybody. But the fact of the matter is he's soft. He is freaking soft, man.
That's facts.
I'm not captain to call this man soft. And to think that he could deal with the physics, you just go over. And again, I'm glad he took a random year 92. Of course, he takes the year before Shaq in the morning gets drafted. Funny. Matter of fact, let me just look at the 92 draft. Because I know I was trying to think of the big men that got drafted that year.
Imagine Rudy having to deal with Dominique, Jordan, even Kevin Johnson. These guys are coming at you. They're not scared of you.
Cook you with real skills.
Yeah, they're not scared.
He's talking about how elite Rudy does. So I was like, bro, you think you never got switch offs in the 90s? You think you never had switch off? First of all, the centers were bulky enough not to always get picked off.
Exactly. Those were big boys. They
You
were there
wouldn't
for a reason. Yeah.
you wouldn't have set picks on many centers either.
No.
You want to set pick on a guard or the elite defensive guard to get your guard free. You're not setting picks on big centers. So all this because they switch everything because they okay, they got to guard more space nowadays. I'll give you that just about a tad. Because again, they act like everybody was all packed up in the paint, which is dumb. But again, you telling me Akeem can take the same switch off that Rudy Gobert could with his goddamn slew-footed ass?
Yeah, I mean, Philip Price saying Larry Johnson. These guys were strong. Charles Oakley. You couldn't just.
Oliver Miller was drafted in '92 again. Elmore Spencer was drafted in '92 as well. But the big two centers at the top, Robert Horry was a lottery pick in '92. So the fact that everybody, Robert Horry, it was expected him to be, I expected. Look, his career numbers, Robert Horry was 7 points and 4.8 rebounds. Stop bringing up Robert Horry in GOAT discussions. Because Robert Horry was a lottery pick. Robert Horry was technically a bust because there were guys that drafted behind him about Robert Horry, like Malik Sealy, Doug Christie, Don McLean, Brian Stiff, who had better numbers than Robert Horry. Robert Horry just found his way to a great team. And it wasn't, I'm not gonna take this part away from him. Was a big shot guy. Again, the guy averaged 42. Shot 42% from the field, 34% from three. Let's keep it real. Stop bringing Robert Horry up as this Jordan foiler about 7-0. Because Robert Horry was a role player who could have and should have been better than the way he was. Like he should have averaged a few seasons though, but he settled into a role player. 7 guys off the bench who was known for knocking down big shots. 34% from three though. Like, come on.
And R.I.P. Malik Sealy. Yeah, he was.
R.I.P. Malik Sealy, man.
Nice.
No doubt. Anthony Peeler was better than Robert Horry.
Anthony Peeler,
even the big bust Harold Miner was better than Robert Horry.
Latrell Sprewell. People don't even really talk about Sprewell. He was a beast.
You know what's so funny? After the third pick, everybody who got drafted was booed. Like Jim Jackson, LaFonso Ellis, Guglielmo, Walt Williams, Sade, Clarence Weatherspoon, Adam Keefe. Oh, I can see Adam. Adam Keefe was a bum. Relatively, may not do this. Robert Horry did get 66.3 win shares, but again, because he always found his way to good teams. He got it off the back of the greatest centers that ever played. 3 of them at least. But everybody got booed until they drafted Harold Miner, who had the shortest NBA playoff career. NBA career only 4 years in that draft. Right. Only player that had a shorter career than Harold Miner was Dave Johnson, who was the 26th, next to last pick of the first round. I don't even remember Dave. I don't remember him at all. He went to Syracuse.
I remember him.
Oh yeah,
but. Wow. Latrell Sprewell, people, because of the whole choking thing with PJ Carlissimo, people sleep on him.
Oh, Spree was that. Again, when you talk about all Jordan played against the Plumbers and Firemen.
Exactly. Sprewell was nice.
You did not see Spree.
Tough. He was tough, too.
That was actually a hell of a good draft, too, man.
Yeah.
You got Doug Christie, Tracy Murray. Again, Tracy Murray was a great 3-point shooter. Again, another thing they'll tell you, nobody can shoot the 3. Bullshit. Elmore Spencer, that was the next. Elmore Spencer went to UNLV. I remember he was there on the back of Larry Brown, Johnson and them. PJ Brown.
Like Philip Fry said, Allen Houston was people don't give him the props. I don't think they give Allen Houston or Eddie Jones. Those guys were, Eddie Jones was playing over Kobe back in the 90s.
Yeah. And FYF, man, you think it's Benoit Benjamin?
Benoit Benjamin.
That man said Benoit Benjamin. You didn't know he was Benoit.
Benoit Benjamin. I got his card right here. Yeah.
Yes. Let me shout out to Benoit Benjamin. Come on, man. Stop saying, like, at least get the man's name right. Just because you know Chris Benoit. Benoit Benjamin played from 86 to he played, so he was the third pick after Patrick Ewing. This is if they didn't fix that draft, that might have been a Knicks center. Maybe if he was the Knicks center, the Knicks never let Bernard King go. He would have been more motivated to. But Benoit Benjamin, again, he had a great solid career. Yeah, he was a walking 16 and 8 at least, a walking double digits at 8 up until, and again, by 92, he was 14 and 8 with Seattle. Averaged 2 blocks a game. Again, at his peak, he averaged 3.4. And I talked about Mark Eaton winning Defensive Player of the Year. They don't. Matter of fact, let me look at Eaton because you talk about the 6 and 8 seasons, but you don't realize that Mark Eaton was getting those 6-7 blocks. And look, the most Mark Eaton ever played was 35 minutes a game. That was 89. Is that what he wanted DPOY? Yes. He wanted DPOY in 85. He came back again and won it again in 89. You got 5.6 blocks. When he wanted DPOY the second time, he averaged 3.8 blocks. I mean, again, solid rebounder. He's getting 30, was what he was. Again, Rudy is better. More intimidating was Mark Eaton. More physical was Mark Eaton. Yeah, Rudy was better. But again, the point
Mark Eaton was a bum from what they said.
Yeah, I mean, and again, he was what he was. He was just there to lay a body on you, intimidate. Again, he started every season of his career except for the first season. Yes, this guy was a mechanic as a grown man. Shout out to the late Mark Eaton. He passed away, right? Yeah, he did.
I think so. But see, the context there is the NBA was playing so much different then than it is now. Like of course, Mark Eaton wouldn't play in today's NBA because it's more of a perimeter game. But like we talked about, if you're going to try to go in on Mark Eaton, you're about to get your shot blocked, or you're going to get your shot altered.
Yep.
And they don't think about that.
They don't think about that at all. If you found your way in the paint and Mark Eaton was sitting there, he was and that was the point. That was the point.
Exactly.
When I talk about, and again, I said this, I told them, I said this about Rudy in a series. I said it against the Lakers. He was going to make a big difference against the Lakers, which he did. He should have made more of a difference. They really didn't. Once Steph was going, they really didn't need him to be big time. They needed him to be big time against OKC. And again, I made the point. He was 5 and 6 against Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein. What are you talking here? And that's the man you're taking over, Hakeem Olajuwon? Fuck out of here, man. Come on, bro. These guys like become straight out of a comic book.
I mean, Hakeem was trash,
Yeah, it's overrated. I couldn't believe it.
From the 90s.
I finally heard I heard his Steve song one time, and that's what I took out from it. You got a rapper talking about how trash Hakeem Olajuwon was? What's that, your little cousin? You fed him that bar?
It's crazy.
Man, oh man, bro. So, I just want people to understand this because nowadays you can make a guarantee, you can make a declaration, you can say whatever you want. And this is for the fans too, the media, everybody. Y'all can say, everybody knew that. Again, like sports talk only, bro. We would love you for you to come back on the channel, man. Because I was there. I remember I was in Wegmans. I was in Wegmans in Brooklyn. And I happened to hear, and I know you had to go that night, but I was begging you because we would have probably debated it for like 2 hours. But again,
man, I'm trying. I know he's going through some things, so I hope everything's good with him. But
shout out, man.
Yeah, but, so hopefully he can come back to the channel.
Look, I can walk back. I said that the Knicks were way better than the Pacers. Whether we make the comeback or not, I was completely wrong about that. I haven't been wrong about a lot in this playoffs. I've been right about 80%. That's a pretty decent, of the series. Now I was wrong about Minnesota. I was wrong for the right reasons. I knew the reason. I knew what Minnesota needed to do, and they didn't do it. They got 2 good games out of Ant-Man. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, y'all called me crazy when I said it was going to be a 5-game series, but
no, you want to be right. But so did you see what was coming from Ant-Man?
I didn't see it, but I knew they just didn't quite have enough. But yeah, Ant-Man just he's got to mature. He's got to mature.
Yeah, when it comes to Minnesota, and shout out to Zay, I hope he's probably going to work tonight. Matter of fact, yeah, he works the night shift and it's 8:00 out there in Vegas, 8:28. Damn, it would have been nice for you to come on, man.
Yeah,
but I
props
know
to
you got to
Zay.
get to sleep for your work, bro.
Yeah.
Rudy, I mean, again, yeah, you needed more. Julius Randle gave you 4 good games, three or 4 good games or whatever. But they need a point guard. They really need a point guard upgrade. They got to figure out a way to get a point guard. And I know they're kind of capped out. We're going to see because Randle is going to either opt out or opt in. I don't think he's going to opt in.
Yeah.
Because Randle having an All-NBA on his resume recently, it's probably due for a Supermax. Who's going to give it to him? I don't know. I mean, I would give Randle something starting at 40. If OG and Obi can get 40, again, we all know they're 2 different type of players. But if Paul George can get 50 at this point of his career, Julius Randle will get 40 from somebody. Shit, Charlotte, he can go to this fucking Charlotte Hornets at that point. Somebody is going to need to spend their money. So somebody's going to be under the cap. And Julius Randle, if they're not going to give it to him in Minnesota, but they need a point guard. I mean, maybe they do a sign and trade. You know what I mean? Allen Houston. Allen Houston actually came in the 93 draft, Philip Fry. But yeah, again, I just think just look at that draft. It was very underrated. You only had 2 at the top Hall of Famers, right? With Zoe and Shaq, but you had a lot of solid players, long-term starters, Alfonso Ellis and these guys in that 92 draft. But that's how we do. We can't. That's how people judge draft. You count Hall of Famers. I'm drafting guys. I'm judging by how many multi-year guys who are perennial starters on good teams. How many all-star guys that actually make all-star games, stuff like that. Ain't got to be necessarily just these guys were Hall of Famers. Oh, look, yeah, and that was when you made your video, right? The guys in the comments. Well, I mean, this team didn't have 4 Hall of Famers. Yeah, a team had 5 Hall of Famers.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think I had 5. Oh, they wasn't in their problem. And then they're gonna tell me Westbrook and his prime. God had averaged 22, 12, and 12, and dragged the team into play. Let's talk about that Washington team. It's funny. That was the one year I had League Pass. And when I realized that I couldn't get Knicks home games on League Pass, what the hell have I got in League Pass if I can't watch my own home team? What the hell am I getting League Pass for? I don't give a fuck about all these other teams. But the one team I was interested in watching was the Washington Wizards because Westbrook is my boy. Westbrook got knee surgery. Remember, he got traded from Houston, right? And he had to get a knee surgery. It's a short off season because of the COVID situation, right? So this is 20 to 21. He got to get his knee scoped. He got it done in that short off season. That short preseason. He missed the rest of the preseason. The guy was there by game 3. He just got a knee scope. Like that one little week of preseason. That's why we only do 4 games of preseason now because of post-COVID. And we used to do 6. There was a point where they did 20 preseason games. You know this, C-Dub? Did you know that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, at one point they did. This is back in the Russell days or something like that. They used to do 20 preseason games.
You said 20?
20. They used to do 20 preseason games.
That's
crazy. I might be wrong on that. I know they did 15 at one point. I believe they did. It was one point where I remember.
They would be complaining now.
Yeah, now they do 4 preseason games. They were doing 6 or 7 before COVID. Now they do 4. Some teams will do 5 if they want to do an international game and shit like that. I remember when the NBA champion used to play the Euro champion.
Yep.
EuroLeague champion back in the day, 2 in the preseason. The NBA defending champion will play the Euro in an exhibition player.
I remember that
game. Yeah. And I always say they should do that now, just to cross promote, just to see who is the best in the world, so we can settle. Remember during the Olympics we had the world what's the real world champion controversy? Well, I'm like, yeah, I'll try to play a little, for pride. But nowadays everybody's so scared about getting hurt and all this because again they don't practice. Oh man, oh man. So yeah, man, these narratives that they go by, man, they just don't give it. They just don't understand, man. These guys can sit there and make all the declaration they want. Again, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9. Nobody calls LeBron out for that, for not delivering. Nobody calls LeBron out for not delivering.
Yeah, what about activating playoff mode?
Activating playoff mode. Going 2-10. Losing to every team. My Knicks were tanking that year against Zion. The Hawks were tanking that year against Zion.
Yep.
You lost to every team that was tanking. You lost to the tanking teams. And then you want to talk, but my groin. Every year, the injury excuse. Nobody calls him out for this nonsense.
I mean, he has a top. I mean, I don't know. Luka could be top 3, top 5, but he's a current top 5, at least top 5 player. And he's sitting home, and he talking about, well, there's 8 players.
And they play 8 other players. They're funny. When it comes to your team winning, there ain't 8 other players. You don't say nothing about the 8 other players that help you win championships.
Facts.
But you don't talk about the 8 other players that help you lose.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, but if you listen, listen to the other channel, LeBron James. I remember they said LeBron James on and off the court is perfect. So
Yeah, Allen Houston, another one with one of the perfect shooting forms. Ray Allen, perfect shooting form. And these are guys that tell you don't take a bunch of threes. Guys who can take threes. Remember Allen Houston dropped 50 on Kobe.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
In the Garden. I mean, it's funny, man. It's funny, bro. It really is, man.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't get the whole 90s hate. Like, I understand. I mean, we overrate certain parts of the 90s because 90s weren't perfect basketball, but it was played to me in its purest form because I grew up playing it. Back then, you learned your position and you had to play your position.
You know what's so funny, bro? Again, Frank Bukowski is not a guy that I'm sitting there acting like I was a big Frank Bukowski fan.
Yeah.
But they were playing that Frank Bukowski shit. I was actually like hyped because I saw real competitive basketball.
Exactly.
They put Frank Bukowski in there to literally, again, you prove my point without realizing, because you try to act like my point was Frank Bukowski was Kevin McHale. At no point did I say he was Kevin McHale. And you put in chat GPT, and he said he had a pretty good up and under. I didn't say he had an elite up and under. The nigga was Frank Bukowski.
Exactly. But they take stuff so literal, when you say something.
And I love it. Boy, I don't use chat GPT to fry Lamont. And I gotta start using I've been using chat GPT for other debates, non-sport debates, but I gotta really start putting in criteria and stuff because again, he got caught lying on me. Again, that white boy on his channel that you said that, bro. You said that. Well, I know exactly what I said. I know what I think.
Yeah, because when he was in the chat about the watered down 90s, I put that in chat GPT. It said, okay, if you're going to say the 90s were watered down, you also have to say the early 2000s.
Yep.
You have to say now.
With all the high school players.
Yep. The current NBA.
They were not as skilled.
Exactly. The current NBA is watered down. If you're going to use the criteria they use, then the ChatGPT said the early 2020s, which we're in now, is watered down then because of the same logic they use for the 90s.
Yep. And I'm not going. We're going to end real soon, but it's one point that I really want to put out there. Again, the idea that the game is growing. Again, as David Falk pointed out, the game is growing, and the game has been growing since 1980. In 1980, in Magic Johnson rookie year, the Dallas Mavericks didn't exist. Did y'all know that? The Dallas Mavericks didn't exist. They became a franchise in 80. I think 80, 81 was the first year of the Dallas Mavericks. Let me just double check that. It might have been there in Magic's rookie year.
They were bad though. They were bad for a long time.
81. So 80, 81 was their first year. That was basically the year Larry Bird won his year. So that was an expansion team, right? Yep. No one says they were 15 and 67, right? Obviously. Within 4 years, they made it to the conference semifinals with Dick Motta. They made it to the conference finals in 88. So, again, the same thing with the expansion teams of the late 80s, the Charlotte, Minnesota, Miami, and Orlando, the two Florida teams. Only in Minnesota, and it took them 17 years to get to a conference finals. Every one of them got to at least a conference finals within the first 7, 8 years of their existence.
Yep, and
he got the conference finals by 96.
The Hornets were a good team,
And the Hornets got the conference finals. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And the Magic actually got to a final, obviously with Shaq.
Yeah. But they don't want to talk about that though.
No, they don't want to talk about that. One like these teams took forever to become competitive. But the point I was making is expansion does not water down the league. It means that the league is doing financially well to put into a new market. New market, new money, new teams, new players. More players get an opportunity to play. Look, the guys that are not in the NBA are fucking great. The guys in the G League, if they came to your local gym, would cook everybody. Again, shout out to Scalabrine, Brian Scalabrine, who makes terrible. I learned that he's a terrible analysis on Boston because he feeds them the Boston fans the stupidest ass takes, especially what he had to say about my Knicks. But he came to my home court and he beat the viral George Messiah. And the point he made is, I'm closer to LeBron than you are to me. And that's period. That's fact.
I remember that, yeah.
These guys that played in the league and these guys that are in the G League are closer to LeBron, are closer to Joker, are closer to the best player in the world than you are to them.
Yep.
So the idea that you get a new team and you get 15 other guys, again, the team is not going to be bad because, again, the league designs it for you to be bad. They designed it for these teams to be bad for a while. And they have to, they make it hard. They don't give you the first pick coming in. In football, they give you the first pick because they know you need to even, in football, you need more guys to get competitive. Giving you the first pick of the draft doesn't do shit.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, you can get the best quarterback and you better put a lot about him because that quarterback ain't going to make it out the first 4 years.
And,
but in the NBA, like the 7th. Like, as a matter of fact, they get shot at the 8th pick, right? So he had the 5th pick.
I mean, I don't even know because I don't care about Charlotte. But I was going to say, they talk about
they take your two Tar Heels, Charmaine and Raymond Felton right off the bat, right? Remember that?
Yep. LeBron in the 2010s, you had the Charlotte Bobcats as a playoff team.
Yeah.
And then you had LeBron and his, I believe it was either Miami or Cleveland, playing a Detroit Pistons team. This was way better than the parity back in the 90s. A Detroit Pistons team where Reggie Jackson was the best player. Just think about that. That was the best player, and that was a Detroit Pistons team that made the finals. I mean, not the finals, but made the playoffs. And you talk about the 90s, there, these teams were bums. They were, Jordan and the Western Conference there was no great teams back then, but you have the Bobcats in the playoffs. If you remember the Bobcats, you have Detroit Pistons with the best player on their team being Reggie Jackson. And you're going to say that, the 2010s were peak basketball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I mean,
And
it is what it
again,
is.
like I said,
It's
it's
what it
like,
is.
yeah, you're gonna have bad eras. Again, you didn't have much
Exactly.
competition in 8 years LeBron went to the finals. Let's keep it real. You had
Yeah.
super teams, and I'm not trying to act like it was a walkthrough, but it was a
Yeah.
lot easier than what Kobe had to go through. It was a lot easier than what Mike had to go through. It was a lot easier than what Magic had to go through to get to the 9 finals in
Exactly.
12
Yeah.
years he got with the Lakers. You know, it just was. But you are on stacked teams, and you then when your team fell off, you didn't sit there and say, "Let us get a couple other guys in there." Randall Clips is back. What
What's the lie?
are we
What's the
lying
lie?
about?
What's the
What are
lie?
we lying about? Than me saying that LeBron had easier competition than Jordan had in the 90s. Boy, Randall, stick to movies and whatever. Movies and TV, because you don't know much about sports, homie. You don't know.
I mean,
If a team
yeah.
with Ben Wallace sitting at the end of the bench was Jordan's 1-8 matchup, a team with Ben Wallace, the Hall of Famer Ben Wallace was riding the bench as a 1-8 matchup. That team had Rod Strickland, Calvin Chaney at the 2, it was Lamar Murray, no Tracy Murray at the 3, Burrishon and Chris Webber. And Jawan Howell was in there. So in fact, let me look at the night, because I'm telling you, one of the best 8 seed I've ever seen that just didn't have a chance was the Wizards of '97. If you're telling me that that's not more competition than what LeBron saw even in '07, and what LeBron saw throughout the 2010s, you're out your damn mind, man. Out your mind. But again, the point I'm making is, like I said, expansion leads to financial. It could come off of financial gain in the NBA. So expansion just means the league is doing well, better. And again, you now get more players with opportunity. If it wasn't for expansion, Ben Wallace wouldn't have a career. Guy was an undrafted free agent, man.
And also expansion the only time teams are bad are like the first couple years, because
Yep.
they have to kind of distribute the talent. But once they do that, teams are going to draft, and then drafting is going to give them players that are, for Orlando, a Shaq, later
Yep.
a Penny. So they're going to get these
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal players. So yeah, it's I don't understand why people think that it's so watered down, and that these teams, because of the expansion, these teams were so bad. Yeah, it had a couple years where they weren't great, but
Yep.
the NBA was still top heavy. You had teams that were actually great.
And again, what Jermaine was saying, what JB was telling us, you didn't have great players being taken over teams in the expansion draft. And the first
Exactly.
pick of the expansion draft was like Rick Anthony and BJ Armstrong.
It's only best.
Oh man, BJ Armstrong. I was actually looking at a clip of a Raptors documentary, man.
Yeah.
And again, I was looking at
Oh no. Still there? Can y'all hear us? Can you hear me? I don't know if we lost King's speech, but can y'all hear? Let me see. Okay, you hear me? Okay, so yeah, he must have lost King's speech, but yeah, I mean, we can argue this. I mean, the NBA has gone through so many changes, and basketball is great. I mean, I'm not one of those to say the current product isn't good. You know, I've enjoyed these playoffs. I think it's going to be a rough sell for this finals, but I mean, all eras I think were good or great, You know, it was the evolution of basketball. You know, and we just we have to appreciate that. I mean, and I'm one of those guys that I'm not a LeBron hater. I'm not a LeBron fan, but I'm not going to hate on him. He's been what the NBA has needed for these last few years, for 20 years, 20 plus years. You know, so I mean, we got to just appreciate. You know, when we say appreciate greatness, we got to appreciate all decades, all years. I mean, I understand that, like we said, we go through different phases. Expansion, you had to get these teams. You had to get a little parity. You had to get, you know, teams in the draft to get lottery picks, all those things. But you know, it happens. And once you weed those out, like we said, Orlando was good in the 90s. Miami was good in the 90s. Surprisingly, the Charlotte Hornets became good when they got Lonzo, Larry Johnson. You know, they had Del Curry, Rex Chapman, Kendall Gill. All those guys were great players. So we can't just act like they were just terrible and the 90s were nothing. You back, King's
Yeah, I'm
Speech?
back. I was actually ranting on the I was ranting on it's 87. I mean the 97 Wizards. And
Okay.
again, that game where Jordan had 55 in game 2. You know, the
Okay.
great Ben Wallace didn't even play. I didn't understand. Was coaches that dumb? They didn't realize that Ben Wallace could have wrecked
Was
havoc on the
was
Bulls over George Bergeron.
Rod Strickland was he on that?
He was on that team. He was their point guard. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That was a good.
Tracy
That was a
Murray
decent
had
team.
22 games.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, they needed everything. They needed Jordan to have 55.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was just saying, you know, all these decades in the NBA, they're good. I mean, even if we talk about this current era, it's still good. I mean, we watched, you know, you watched the Knicks earlier. You know, we're watching these games, and
Bro, there are a lot of
it's
great
just
players.
different.
There are great teams. I
Yep.
say this is a great era of parity where you don't have no all-time juggernaut team. We were
Exactly.
talking about the one thing we did agree on, and I agree with Johnny on, is that this OKC team, if they win the finals, will be an all-time great team. Again, you won 68 games. Only 7 teams have reached that. 7 teams. I went in there. He asked me to name the 7. I was able to do it on top of my head. So if they, and again, the Boston Celtics, there were 2 of 68 win teams. Actually, no, it's 3. Hold on. 2 teams, 2 of them did not win the finals, and that would obviously be the 73 win Warriors,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was the 68 win Celtics of 73 that ironically the Knicks knocked off to win our last NBA championship. Remember, we knocked off a 68 win team. So if you want to talk history, guess what? My team to win one of his championships beat a 68 win team. And then we beat a team coming off of 69 wins. I'm just saying, at least we earned our fucking championships, Nick haters. We earned it. We beat a team that just won 69 games, and we beat a team that won 68 games that season. We won 51 and 31, the same way we won this year. I think it was either 51 or 52. But we knocked off a team in the conference finals that won 68 games. So talk about Knicks championship in history all you want. At least we earned our shit. You know what I mean? I'm just popping my shit here, guys. But yeah, man. I mean, let's CW. You got something you want to talk about or promote, man? We're gonna wrap this up when he get back. Again, the Lakers in the chat. You might want to hop on and just say anything, man. But
yeah, I mean, random clips. I see your point. You know, if one team,
I'm staying on it though, man.
yeah,
I'm staying on it.
if one team wins more championships in a decade than the other teams, then you know, you gonna say it's
You know what?
weaker.
I'm gonna say that's Cope and Cap because I think we need to understand, man. The 92 Blazers were amazing. The 91 Lakers obviously were amazing. They had all that championship pedigree, still playing in their prime. Say what you want about them getting old. That's nonsense. Nobody was like in their late 30s. Nobody was even in their mid 30s on that team. Yeah. Right?
So
they had adequately replaced, at least with the last bit of Akeem could get with Vlade Divac. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they got back to the finals. You know, again, they were heavy favorites. Everybody keeps saying Jordan was a favorite in every finals. No, the Lakers were heavy favorites. The Bulls didn't have championship pedigree yet. The Lakers did.
Because in the 80s, the Lakers won half of the championships.
Yeah.
So was the 80s waters down or the 2000s? You can say the Lakers, they won 4 of them.
And Magic was personally there for 5.
Was that decade watered down? I don't,
makes no sense.
The Bulls won 6. They ran half of the decade. Yeah. But, look at these others. You look at the 80s, 2000s, 2010s. Yes, the Warriors only got 3, but every year they were favored after 2014.
There was no other time. I don't think there's any other time. Even there was no other time where you had the same fight. Because remember, the Lakers and Celtics win a lot in the 60s, right? I don't think there's any other time where you had the same finals 4 straight years. So
that's facts.
So they say that's watered down.
Yeah. So was the watered down then because 2 teams just completely, dominated, a large segment of that decade. So it is what it is.
I'm just doing a quick, because we about to wrap it up. I'm just doing a quick fact check. NBA Finals year by year, and I'm trying to see if in the 60s did it happen. Hold on one second. List of NBA champions, so I can do it that way on Wikipedia. Results by team, results by year. Champions. Okay, here we go. I'm trying to go. So it would have to. It would more than likely it would have happened in the 60s. The Lakers got there. So Lakers got there 2 years in a row. They got there 4 times in 5 years. So that was close. Those San Francisco Warriors got there in 64. And then the San Francisco Warriors got there again in 67. San Francisco. That would be. Oh no, the Celtics didn't even make it in 67. It was Wilt going to the Sixers. You still there? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just a fact check. I'm trying to see. So there was no other time where you had the same straight finals 4 straight years. Again, you had the Lakers and Celtics 68 and 69. The Lakers and Celtics 65, 66. That's 4 and 5 years. And you know what? You actually did get the Lakers and Celtics 6 out of 8 years. That's the closest to it.
Yeah.
So the Lakers lost to the Celtics 6 times in the 60s.
Yep.
And that was the finals 6 out of the 10 years of the 60s. So the first one in the 70s obviously would be the Knicks' first championship. Knicks beat the Lakers in 7. That was the famous Willis Reed game coming out, but Walcott Frazier was the real MVP. Baltimore Bullets and Bucks, Lakers and Knicks in 72. They beat the Knicks. Then the Lakers and Knicks played again, back-to-back finals. You don't have a lot of back-to-back finals. You definitely don't have a lot of the same finals 3 years in a row. I don't think you ever had another same finals 3 years in a row. Matter of fact, I'm looking at that now. Yeah, you had the same finals 4 years in a row. So guess
4
what?
years.
I can say that's watered down based on your theory, Randall Clips. Facts over here, man. We do facts and we connect it to logic. You know what I'm saying? So when you say the competition is weak, that's a way of coping with the fact that Michael Jordan and the Bulls, because I don't just say Michael Jordan did it himself like y'all do with LeBron. But Michael Jordan and the Bulls beat a lot of great teams. A lot of teams that would be considered all-time greats if they didn't run into the Bulls. Like the Sixers. Like the Jazz. The Jazz won 64 games. The Jazz won 64 games. We're acting like they were bums.
Yeah, it's easier to say this when you have revisionist history, like you say, and when you can look back, because many of these teams we thought were great teams, but they lost.
They lost.
So
And they lost because that's why I really want to do a debate. I want somebody to pick me up on a debate. I'm gonna hit Travis up because I obviously went on. I was able to get on the last part of the Sunday Live panel. Even though I didn't get a chance to say much because I was going to the store, but they always invited me down, and I'm gonna see if it, whatever. But
yeah, because what I was going to tell you, I was going to try to start, a little debate thing every other week.
Yeah, we can do that, man. We can do that.
Yeah, see who wants to pop up. Yeah.
Come on, so I'm sick of typing, bro. I've been
I
typing
feel
on
you.
Facebook. I still do it. I was still going at Celtic fans today and going at people that hate on Angel Reese. Again, I don't hate Caitlin Clark. I just think it's real ridiculous that anybody that competes with Caitlin Clark automatically gets vilified. And don't you realize it's somebody's job to compete with her? How's she going to be great without an adversary? But anyway, that's the next weird thing about it. But I'm sick of typing with people. I got a platform where I can talk. And you see me kind of losing my voice right now. I think I'm all right.
Yeah, but I was going to start something called the GOAT Debates. Since it's GOATcast podcast, we're going to start the GOAT Debates this summer and just have two people. It don't have to be player versus player. It can be anything. You can say
anything. Coach
yeah,
versus
you can
coach.
say
See, a lot of people, and I'll tell you, bro, a lot of people, they can't. I was even said on FYF, nobody was like, y'all just want to talk about players because y'all can't put players in the context of a team. And that's why I know I watch y'all because y'all just shit on individual players, not understanding that every individual player adds something to a team.
Exactly.
Like, DeMar couldn't even understand the concept that having Hartenstein there helps.
Yeah, so we're gonna do everything. Like we're gonna
have to play against other centers all the time. He didn't get it. He did not grasp his concept. Mr. Coach. I think I don't even know. Like he must just coach 3-point shooters. I don't know what the hell it is. But this guy, again, he sees the game as one way, and again, he thinks he because he coaches that nobody else knows anything about the game of basketball.
Yeah, so we gonna debate all aspects. Yeah, we gonna do like I have my opinion on super teams. So me and Big Nige, we're probably gonna debate, do super teams exist? Because I don't think they exist. So we're gonna do like different topics and just debate them. Whether it's player versus player, like you said, team versus team. I like the team versus team concept because that's something we don't really do a lot in the debate realm is this team versus this team, could they beat each other? Yeah, so we're gonna do several topics, several different things, but something we can debate. So hopefully you guys will come out for that, and we're gonna definitely
being scared, man. Stand on it. I go up.
Don't be scared. Yeah,
all the time. They mute me. They gang up on me. They don't. Again, one thing I know, I stand my ground because you guys they never understand what I'm arguing.
Yeah. So here we're gonna let you guys be the judges. We're not going, we're not gonna cherry pick and just pick certain judges that we're gonna let the chat and the people in here judge it, and we're gonna, I think it's gonna be fun. We're just gonna just debate different topics and just just enjoy basketball.
We gotta go crazy, but just and at the end of the day, we can have again because I went out there, I left the chat mad cordial. It seemed like they wanted me up there, but you had just given me the link. I'm like, bro, I got my own show to do today.
And we can do eras. Yeah, I would like the era talk. Like we could talk 80s and 90s or 90s and 2000s, 90s, 2010s. Because if you really know basketball, 90s and 2010s aren't that different. The stats don't say one is superior to the other. So yeah, we're gonna do a little something this during the summer so we can just have something fun, something interactive.
Yeah, man. One last thing I remember because I asked Lamont, name me the greatest team that you think never won a championship. Because again, they said there were no other great teams in the 90s.
Yeah,
I said, You can't name this. You can't name the 16 Warriors, and I threw him for a loop.
And then he said the 04 Lakers.
He
That
went to
was
the
his.
04 Lakers, and
Yeah,
again, I can sit there and break that. Again, I did
yeah.
this. I broke. Again,
That was
Malone
not a
averaged
good
5
team.
points and 8 rebounds in the finals,
Yeah, that
guys.
was not a good team.
They averaged again. You talk about a team that averaged 68 points a game, and again, I know against modern complex defenses. It's funny though. It's funny though. Oh my God! I just connected. I just connected something full circle. Because we did a whole thing about chat where Jamont uses Chat GPT. So he named his team. He put his 8, right? It was 5 starters. Only one of them could be an MVP. The other one could be an all-star. 3 other starters, right? They could not have much all-star. They could have been an all-star at some point or whatever. And then a 6th man of the year, your coach, your coaching style. So long story short, I used the Larry Brown, and I had to figure out what Larry, because he always wants the technical name of the defense. So the Larry Brown man-to-man switch everything defense. So the team that he said was the greatest team that never won a championship of all time. I used Larry Brown's defense, and Larry Brown's defense kept that team to 68 points a game in the finals. And kept it to where only 2 players on the team got above 40%. And the second player was Rick Fox, took 7 shots in the series. But he used Chat GPT for everything. I gotta let Lamont know that shit too.
Hey, let him know.
Things coming full circle, man. That team said well, at least he gave me 6 games. And it said I had Jamal Crawford as my 6th man. They ain't give him no credit.
Yeah, I remember. That's where he was with the Chat GPT. You putting the players and all that in there.
Remember, his center, his main defensive stopper, was
PJ
Tucker. No,
PJ Tucker.
They didn't, because they called him out for cheating and having Al Horford because Al Horford was an all-star, whatever. How you got Al Horford as your center? So you had to change Al Horford to PJ Tucker as a center. And ChatGPT still thought that he could deal with Akeem Olajuwon. Akeem Olajuwon was my center. KJ was my point guard. And my team couldn't get no more than 2 games with PJ Tucker as a center. Bro, what can I do? What can I do other than drop the mic?
You can manipulate Chat GPT. That's all I'm gonna say.
Exactly, and I know they do. And I know he manipulates. He has, but again, I've had Chat GPT call this man a liar so many times. But again, when you call him out on a lie, because again, Chat GPT clearly said that load management started with the Philadelphia 76ers, but he wouldn't know. He didn't say that. I'm reading on your screen, Lamont. Anyway, yo, this has been a fun show, man.
It has.
This is the trial thing about me doing 2 shows in a week. Because I know Maine right now, JB's schedule is Tuesday. He gets Tuesday and Thursday, Wednesdays off. So he's not always available on Thursday. So I said Thursday is my random night. Plus the Knicks were on. Let me jump on. But I am open to doing 2 shows, man. As we grow in membership, we go in subs and everything, man. I have fun talking to you guys. I have fun with you guys that coming in the chat, man. I'm really humbled by, those that come on and find me entertaining or find me interesting to hear, man. And we're gonna try to do some things, man. Like I said, man, if anybody got time, I know summertime is coming and all this, but I just love talking sports, man. Gonna be some times when I'm sitting in the park doing a show, man. Sitting up in the barbecue with the music in the background, shit like that, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put it to the side.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the community post out, and if you guys want to come join us for our little debates, we go, like I said, we're debating different things. Come on, and we'll set up different people. It doesn't have to be the same people every week, but we're going to do, we're going to just do some things that are interesting, some fun things, more interactive things, and just, I appreciate everybody coming out because, we're helping everybody grow, King's Speech, us, we appreciate you guys. And
Yeah, man, for sure, man. And like I said, we just gonna take this to the next level, man.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be a fun, bro. Appreciate it, CW, fist
Yep.
bump, great show, and catch you guys on the next one, man. I'll be hollering at you, bro.
Yep. All right. Well, we're out.
All right.